The name of my company is Schneider Electric. It's not my company, of course. We're a $26 billion leader in energy management. So we specialize in taking the world's electrons and making the most of the world's energy. 70% of the world's electrons comes through Schneider Electric equipment, and we're really looking at very challenging problems as the world's energy demands double between now and 2050. And at the same time, we're trying to reduce our carbon footprint down in half. That's really the cornerstone of Schneider Electric's strategy.
What was the topic of this panel in there?
The topic of the panel is really disruptive innovations. In fact, are electric vehicles a disruptive innovation, or is it more of a sustaining innovation?
What do you think?
So, emphatically, EVs, when you look at a systemic approach, have the makings and are on a trajectory to be disruptive. If you look at the technologies today, as simple as an electric motor versus an ICE vehicle is a huge energy efficiency play. So electric motors, for instance, are north of 90% energy efficient, whereas internal combustion engines are somewhere in the mid-20s. So there's certainly opportunities for disruptive technologies. But when you look at the costs of electric vehicles, today the cost of operation is low, but the initial cost is high. So one could argue that really we're not disrupting the car market because the price is relatively high versus the incumbent car markets. So one could argue that the disruptive that EVs are not disruptive at all. But when you look further and you look at the systemic approach, which is what Schneider Electric does, we put in charging infrastructure and all that's required from the utilities to work with municipalities, work with the private sector, and work with consumers to put charging infrastructure in place. When you see all the charging infrastructure in place working with the electric vehicle, that makes for a combination that is in fact a disruptive business moving forward.